Welcome to our group, Omega-3 Richer Experiences. And today I have an experience that is worth sharing. And we're going to listen to Heather. She is a health coach. She's living in Arizona. And tell us a little bit about you, Heather. Give us the background.
Hi, Michaela. Thanks for having me. So I've been interested in health most of my life. It started when I was in middle school. My mom got sick at the time, and after that, she changed kind of our eating and how we kind of our lifestyle changed a lot after that, just to be healthier. And I've always had an interest in health. And when I decided to go back to school, I decided to get a certification to become a health coach so that I can be equipped to help other people. I've always known that I wanted to do something that helped people, that was some type of service, whatever that would be. And so really just felt like it was a good fit for me. I've had my own journey with weight loss and nutrition and mindsets around food, anorexia, lots of different experiences that I've had that I really have a heart to help other people in their journey as well.
Yeah. And right when you had been, I know you mentioned a lecture that you were listening to. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I had the opportunity to listen to Dr. Barry Sears. And if you're familiar with the Zone diet or you've heard of that, he's the one that created that. But the whole concept that he created around the Zone diet dealt with inflammation and how inflammation leads to chronic disease. And in his studies, he found that really high levels of polyphenols and really high levels of omega-3 can decrease inflammation. And that was the first time that I had heard that. I knew I was experiencing inflammation and I knew other people that were as well. But the first time I'd ever heard that was when he had mentioned it. And it got me thinking, okay, I think this will help my family. This will help me, my husband, our kids, but how on earth are we going to get those high level of polyphenols and omega-3? You have to eat about 6 pounds of fish a day to get as much omega-3 as your body needs. And if you don't know what polyphenols are they work to combat the oxidative stress that we have in our bodies that can create heart disease, cancer, and more inflammation. And they come from the really colorful, dark colored fruits and vegetables. But it's really hard to get enough in our diet just because the way that our food is, and we just don't eat that many calories anymore in terms of like nutrition. And so you have to find other supplementation and other sources. And actually, I listened to that really shortly before I found you, Michaela, and met you, because I really was just weeks before asking the question, how are we going to do this? I can't even buy omega-3s in the store that have enough of these ingredients. They don't have high enough levels of omega-3. We'd have to be drinking the whole bottle. How are we going to afford this? It tastes like fish. It tastes gross. My kids won't take it. Like, those are all the things that are going through my mind.
Yeah, and another aspect also is the polyphenols that used to be in fruit and veggies. Today, the reason why they create the polyphenols is simply to protect themselves against insects. Well, today, when you are gardening, like the people are growing the foods, they're using ways of making the insects not attack the fruit and veggies. So some people are using what is it called? The English word for it?
Oh, the pesticides.
Yeah, pesticides. And even if it's organic, a lot of people that are growing organic foods, they're growing them in tubes now to keep the insects out. And if the insects are not there, there is no need for the fruit and veggies to even produce polyphenols. So the polyphenols are reduced also, even if we try eating them through our fruit and veggies, they're not as rich in polyphenols anymore. So we're happy that we do have a rich source in extra virgin olive oil. And especially when we're harvesting those olives even earlier than normal companies are doing, it's more expensive because they're smaller. So you need more of them to be able to create, but that is how you can create those high polyphenol extra virgin olive oils.
Yeah, that's interesting. I actually didn't know that about the insects, but that makes a lot of sense.
Yes. So you have been struggling with some health issues in your family, and I just wanted you to tell us a little bit, because your husband had been struggling with depression for a long time and sleep problem. Can you start telling us a little bit about the depression?
Yeah, so depression runs in my husband's family. He unfortunately isn't the only one. And I've kind of seen some signs in my children, and and that's concerning. Also is concerning about my husband. And since he was 15, he started really battling his mental health and has tried a lot of different things along the way, natural and pharmaceutical. And it seemed like things would help for a while, but then there would be kind of a relapse, or he could never really like get fully over the hump. And it is really hard to see someone you love and someone who is trying so hard to get better and not be able to get better the way that they want to. Just to be on this constant roller coaster ride of, sometimes things are really great and sometimes they're really bad. And then also not, the sleep was a problem. And when I was doing research about depression over the years, just to try to understand it more, I discovered that insomnia is one of the main symptoms of depression. And most everyone who has depression has some form of insomnia. And that was definitely my husband. And we had worked, we've been married 15 years, together 17. And the whole time I've known him, been trying to do things that would help with his sleep. And really were largely unsuccessful until recently.
Yeah, and what happened recently?
Yeah, so I had him try the balance oil, and because those omega-3s are so good for your brain, and we know that depression and mental health is a lot of times has to do with brain health and neurotransmitters and the signals in your brain. And I got to thinking, I know that he had been actually taking some omega-3s from a naturopath had recommended that he take some omega-3s and how good this would be for his brain. But it still wasn't, we were just taking something from the health food store, but it was what we thought was a really good brand recommended by a doctor. And, but we still, there really wasn't a lot of effects that we were seeing. We weren't really seeing any of the benefits, but he kept doing it because that's what he was instructed to do. But when I met you, I started him on the balance oil. I thought, well, let's try this because I know it has the polyphenols, and now that I've learned from Dr. Barry Sears, it has more high levels of omega-3, and you dose it by weight. So I figured that's going to be good too. So I tried it on him. And actually, I couldn't believe it. The first night he slept really good, and he actually dreamed, and he hasn't dreamed probably in his whole life. And I don't know why it happened so quickly on the first night. I know everyone's body probably reacts differently, but for him, he slept amazingly that first night. And if you don't dream, your body can't get in that restorative state that you need to be for your body to restore and heal and rejuvenate. So he hasn't dreamed in as long as I've known him. He woke up that next morning and he was like, that was kind of annoying. I had so many dreams. I'm not used to this. So it was kind of funny.
And also the length he slept, because you explained how he used to sleep before he started on the oil.
Yeah, so he would fall asleep, but he would only sleep until about 1 a.m. and then be up the rest of the night. And that is actually the definition of insomnia. Insomnia doesn't necessarily mean you never fall asleep. It means you fall asleep, but as soon as you start to where your body wants to get into that restorative sleep, you actually wake up and you don't go back to sleep after that. And that was definitely him pretty much every night. If he fell back asleep, he wouldn't fall back asleep until like 6 a.m., but then it's time to get up. So that's really frustrating. So then I wouldn't say like that first night of sleep was amazing. It didn't last. It was really sporadic. And after that, sometimes he'd sleep really well, sometimes he wouldn't. And I thought, well, let's just stick with it because it takes 120 days for all of your blood cells to be made new. with the balance oil. So let's stick with it. And then in the meantime, we also got the Viva, which is, Michaela has it, which is saffron and B vitamins. And there have been a lot of studies on saffron and its ability to help with sleep. So if you can look up some research and some studies that have been done on that. So I decided, and also is really great for depression as well. You don't have to take Viva just before sleep. You can take it during the day for stress and anxiety. And as you know, most people that struggle with mental health are more likely to have anxiety as well. And so he started on the Viva, and he takes several, I think, in the morning, and then before bed, he takes a few more. And the combination, and then also it's been 3 months that he's been using it. We're almost to the 4-month mark. And now that he's been on it longer, he consistently is sleeping well. And I think one thing I did learn was when you're on the balance oil, it does change your cell structure. It's taking out that inflammation, and so your cells can retain nutrients and vitamins and minerals. Your cells can retain that a lot better and utilize it. And so because his cells, were so full of inflammation, he probably was having a hard time retaining any of the supplements or anything that we had tried before. And so now that his cells are working right, the Viva is able to work consistently every day, and we've really seen a big change.
Yes, I just wanted to correct a little bit. It's vitamin C, iodine, and magnesium, and then the saffron in this.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I know, I heard it, so I was like, I just want to correct it. But all of those, vitamin C and magnesium, is very important for the neurotransmitters in your brain as well. It's also helping with the blood and brain barrier. So it's have a lot of good benefits. And I have many people that have been struggling with insomnia. Me, myself, have had a lot of problems sleeping my whole life. Until I also found Zinzino. And I have been on all different kinds. I've been taking natural melatonin. I've been trying all the things you should do, turn off the screens and read books in the night. But my body doesn't produce melatonin, so I don't never get tired. So I wouldn't just never go to sleep until 3, 4 a.m. in the morning and then sleep for 2-3 hours. And then I was up again. So I have also noticed a big change in my health after implementing that. I also wanted to mention, because we do have probably people that know someone that is struggling with depression, or maybe they're struggling with depression themselves. I just want to mention to you that when people are talking that depression is running in the family, what science is showing is actually that it may not be so much in your DNA, it's more in your gut flora. So what kind of bacteria you are having, because people from the same family is usually eating the same types of food and having the same types of bacteria, and is having same problems with leaky gut that can cause the same chemical imbalances up in our brains. I just wanted to mention that, because if you are struggling with depression and you see tendencies in your kids, if you put in ways of building up the gut health, and omega-3 plays an essential part in gut health as well, and vitamin D, pre and probiotics, and movement as well. So I just wanted to put that in there as well. But it is lovely to see that he's now sleeping better, because what will that mean for the future?
Yeah, a lot of things. He's an entrepreneur and works on helping new businesses get started, and not being able to sleep well makes it hard to function in situations. A lot of situations it would be difficult, but I feel like his brain capacity and the challenges he's had has made it really difficult, and not being able to sleep. But now that he's sleeping well, he notices a big difference in his mental performance at work, and it's been, of course, much better for the family as well. So we're really pleased and really thankful.
And just imagine for the future too, because we do know if you are not sleeping well when you are younger, and when you are between the 20 and the 50 years old, we are more prone for dementia and other things that can develop as we grow old. Our body need a time for restoration. So I am so happy that he's also able to sleep better, just like me, because that plays a really big role in our overall health as we're growing older. Thank you so
definitely.
much. Yeah, thank you so much, Heather, for coming here and sharing this. I know it is personal. I know that it can be very hard when people are struggling with depression, because it's not something we choose, and it's not an on and off switch. It's not like we don't want it to be there, but it's there. And often it's not our fault. But now when we can educate people on how to improve our brain health and improve our gut health, that might help people ease, to ease them off that.
Yes.
So anyways, I'm losing my English
Yeah.
word. I'm from Sweden, by the way, if no one have noticed that yet. Okay, thank you so much, Heather, for joining. And I'm
You're
looking
welcome. Thank you.
I'm looking forward to hear more from you in another year.
Sounds good.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.